a very warm welcome to Thorough Newspaper Analysis, which is presented to you by Lawseco. So, today we'll discuss important articles from the newspaper of 19 July 2021. We have two important articles of the day. The first is titled as Time to Build a Valuable Economy. It is from The Hindu. It talks about what things need to be changed in order to revive the economy in this pandemic situation and why it is the time to look back into the reforms that was done in 1991. The second article is titled as Crime of State. It is written by Nandita Rao, who is a Delhi based lawyer, and it is from the Indian Express. It talks about the extrajudicial killings and also overcrowding of the prisons in our country. This newspaper analysis is presented to you by me. My name is Ankita Parida. I am manager for social media outreach and free content team and also a current affair expert working with Lawseco. You can reach out to me at my LinkedIn or Twitter handle which is mentioned here. Moving to the MCQ section of the day, your question is National Health Mission was started by Government of India in which year? You can select an answer from these options. Your options are 2013, option B 2012, option C 2018, and option D 2000. You can write your answers in the comment section. Moving to the descriptive question of the day. By keeping our jails packed with under trials and allowing emergency payroll on the basis of seriousness of offense alleged and not the vulnerability of the inmates to COVID, are we deterring crimes? You can write your answers in 250 to 300 words. For more such updates and free study materials and TNA PDF slide, please join our Telegram group. This is the code to our new Telegram group. Our old Telegram group has been dismantled. You can join right by scanning the code from here, and also you can join by using the link which is there in the description box. Also, for more updates, you can join or follow us on our Instagram handles, that is lawseco.judiciary, lawseco cladprep, and ugcnet_lawseco. Moving to the first article of the day, we talk about building a valuable economy. So in this article, the author has retrospectively seen the development which are done in the 3 decades since the Narasimha Rao government uh, um, reforms in 1991. This July marks the 30th anniversary of economic reforms launched by the Narasimha Rao government in 1991, and it is the right time to evaluate and celebrate what has been the journey of economy in these 3 decades. So it was seen that a disproportionate assessment could be approximately seen in the economic policy change of 1991, in which there were major challenges for Indian economy. We had a very challenging forex reserve in our country at that time, and also our country was facing a balance of payment crisis. However, since then it has been seen that since this reform, it has been seen that since these 3 decades there has not been any other balance of payment crisis in 3 decades. Let's talk about today's situation and the financial inflows that we have today in our economy. So basically, the most disappointing feature is that this forex reserve or the investment we have today is basically the investment of the foreign traders or the institutions in foreign markets. So they have put their money in our country, and because of which we have a good balance of payment. Currently the balance of payment has been showed up portfolio capitals, that is given by the individual and institutional capitalist or the people have invested their money in our country, and this can flow out of the country very easily at any point of time. And it is important to note that we have not made our export very strong, and this is why still we have a very vulnerable economy. Let's analyze what was the trend in 1991 and what is the situation today. In 1991, it was seen that India was going through a very bad foreign exchange crisis or very bad forex reserve we had, and because of that we could hardly finance 3 weeks of import. However, today we have a forex reserve which is so ample that we can actually uh, afford a import of 12 months without any hesitation. However, this is seen that this foreign exchange or reserve has been accumulated because of a result of financial inflows and not because of increased export, as we had discussed. So historically and globally, it has been seen that economy shows that publicly provided infrastructure, private research and development, and facilitating government machinery are very crucial for countries' export competitiveness. And today in the software industry, it is witnessed that the software industry has leveraged on these kind of principle today. However, we could not make it possible for export of goods in this fund. So the reforms are yet to take us there, and the reforms were also meant to rise the rate of growth of Indian economy, which has not been a possibility today. And also upon that, there has been many impediments in the path. That is, in 2016 we had the demonetization, and also today we have the pandemic, and because of which we have a very staggering economy at this point of time. People are losing jobs, and there are many problem economic situation that is faced at the major level by the government and the minor level by the people themselves. So to deal with this kind of problem, it is very much important that we create the necessary infrastructure first, and then manage the supply of essential services. Essential services include the health system, the sanitation, and many other things which are very important, like the transportation also. And if these are improved, then only we can have that we have a valuable economy. Moving to the second article of the day, it talks about the situation of under trials and the prisoners in our country. So basically, it has been seen that many people in our country are facing this kind of problem, and in this, we see that the prison in which 70% of its inmates are under trials in India. And based on it, Nandita Rao writes that after the death of Stan Swami, question about the condition of jails and treatment of the incarnated have been raised again. So, in this, we see that the National Crime Record Bureau has stated a data in which it has been seen that 1800 prisoners died in 2018. It is a very huge number to say. 1800, almost 2000 people are dying in the prisons in our country. So it has been seen that then when we are subjecting a person for a punishment of imprisonment, we are not just losing his liberty, but also many other additional elements of punishment we are certainly giving them. These include the rationing of the food, sexual deprivation. In some situation, there are also sexual harassment, corporal punishment, solitary confinement, and many other. There remains, therefore, a trace of torture in the modern mechanism of criminal justice. And it has been recorded that the National Crime Record Bureau data that 70% of the prison inmates are under trial. This is a very huge number. So it can be assumed that those dying in prison are not convicted of any offense even. So you can see many innocent people are coming under the coming under this number, that is 70%, and they are not able to get their justice at time, and even they are dying because of many factors in the prison without getting their trial or justice. So let's talk about the various problems and the reasons why these kind of situations are happening in the prisons. The first is the overcrowding and the delayed medical attention, which has been very prevalent in Indian prisons. And also there is a very prevalent unhygienic condition and malnutrition deficit existing in the Indian prison, because of which the right to life is affected and article 21 is violated for these prisoners. Secondly, it has been seen that there is a huge neglect by the state and the judiciary, because it is the responsibility of the state and the judiciary to ensure that they are only deprived of their liberty and not exposed to any additional torture in the form of medical deprivation, unhygienic condition, bad or inadequate food, etc. Yet thousands are dying every year and the prison authorities are not made accountable. This is very evident from the law which has been enacted by the Maharashtra state, that is Prisons Act 1894, which states that the prison offenses mentioned under the act are only those committed by the inmates. No conduct of the prison authority is criminalized, and it grants them immunity and presumes that these actions are done in good faith or in good faith act. Therefore, it brings into notice the great neglect the state has himself taken into the thing. And this is why there has been many instances of extrajudicial torture which is happening in the jails of Maharashtra even. Regarding this, the judiciary has taken a note many a times. The first is Justice Krishna Iyer in the Constitutional Bench judgment in Sunil Batra 1 versus Delhi administration in 1978 had held that the human thread of jail jurisprudence that runs right through it is that no prison authority enjoys amnesty for unconstitutionality. Secondly, this judgment was followed by several high courts for the improvement to be brought up in prison condition. Yet in 1995, the conscience of the nation was shocked with the Rajan Pillai, who was detained for extradition to Singapore for an economic offense, which did not even carry a life sentence, died in Tihar jail. Also, based on it, the Leela Seth Commission was appointed by the Delhi administration to inquire into incident, concluded that poor hygiene and medical negligence led to the liver cirrhosis, taking a serious turn into the life of this person Rajan Pillai, and therefore he died in the jail. And also, it can be said that it is a clear case of medical negligence in which, because of which he died. Third, the Delhi High Court in Nina Pillai and others versus Union of India had directed the payment of 10 lakh as compensation to prisoners, to petitioner, and the implementation of the Leela Seth Commission recommendation. Yet, as as the National Crime Record Bureau statistics show, the death of inmates in prison and the under trial population have only increased and they have not decreased, and these things are not taken into account seriously. Today, we have another situation in which again there has been this kind of extrajudicial torture being done to Father Stan Swami, who was 84 years old and had dedicated his life to rights of the unprivileged, and the state had rewarded a death because of COVID-19 related complication in judicial custody, because of which he died in July 5th. This is a very shocking thing, and the NIA court, that is the National Investigating Agency Code, had not granted him bail, stating that the health condition was overweighed by the collective interest of the community. So let's talk what is the matter of collective conscience here. Our collective interest can only be served by ordering a judicial inquiry into the condition, by detention and infection of the Swami, and by fixing the accountability upon those who fail to ensure his safety and dignity in incarnations. So a collective interest need to be seen, and it need and based on it, the judicial inquiry is also collective interest, which should be taken into account in this case of the death of Father Stan Swami, so as to ensure justice to him. So this was all for today. Thank you.